and Android.
Now at 5, an alliance advocates for improvements in Midtown Joplin. Plus, Missouri's governor appoints the state's first female attorney general, and
President Trump is vowing not to include U.S. troops in any security guarantees to end Russia's war in Ukraine. I'm Jordan Small at the White House with the latest on peace talks as the president is now pushing Zelensky and Putin to meet one-on-one.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A newly formed organization hopes to bring new life to the Joplin Midtown District. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The Midtown Joplin Alliance will encompass Main Street from 10th to 20th Street and the surrounding 6 blocks on each side. The organization's goal is to advocate for opportunities to improve the district, promote businesses there, and keep the area clean. Organizers say they believe the effort can help how Midtown is an important and thriving part of Joplin.
You know, really every part of town does deserve a champion and someone to help showcase some of the great businesses like Fred and Red's and Norma's Diner or the OK Bar that are right here in Midtown and have been staples of Joplin for a very long time. The organization says they've already had many community members reach out to learn more and get involved. They say the best way to do so is by following their Facebook page, Midtown Joplin Alliance. PSU held its annual community fair this afternoon. The event, typically held at the start of each fall semester, enables students to meet with local companies, businesses, and organizations. Organizers say it's about showing students the value of planting roots and building futures right here in the 4 states.
Just a lot of chain situations that you run into in Pittsburgh. So we have a lot of smaller things or maybe entities that they haven't had as much personal interaction with.
There's a bunch of church groups and that's something that I'm really interested in. So definitely happy to see that they're here.
Ton of hospitality going around. They're giving away a lot of stuff. And it's just been a lot of fun being able to get free stuff and learning more about the community.
This event is normally held at the Oval. However, due to some construction underway, the event was relocated outside of the Overman Student Center. Missouri's governor has appointed the state's first female attorney general. Governor Mike Kehoe named Catherine Hanaway to the position today. She'll replace Andrew Bailey, who's moving on to become co-deputy director of the FBI. Hanaway is currently a partner at a St. Louis law firm. Previously, she served as Republican Speaker of the Missouri House of Representatives.
The most important part of this job is to protect Missourians from anyone who would do violence against them, who would rip them off in financial schemes, who would abuse them through providing terrible care and getting paid by Medicaid, and anyone who would try to invade their constitutional rights.
Hanaway takes over the AG role next month. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
And it turned out to be another hot one outside for us today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the morning hours. Some of you got rain, but not as widespread as what we would like. And right now you can't see some showers out across our western counties, a few popping up in southwestern Missouri as well, but very hit and miss. If you get some of these this evening, consider yourself one of the luckier ones. So far, here's pretty much where most of the rain has been, kind of north of Lamar over toward Nevada, and very hit and miss once you get across southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. These are going to die down over the next few hours as we go through the night into Wednesday morning. We start near 70, not as hot tomorrow. We're actually going to cool down a bit. We'll talk about it here in a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. President Trump said today he's working on facilitating talks between the leaders of Ukraine and Russia after he met with both of them individually over the last few days in an effort to end the war. Tareen Small has the latest from the White House.
The White House says accommodations are underway to arrange a face-to-face meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin as soon as possible.
There are many options that are being discussed by our national security team right now with both parties.
The comments come a day after President Trump met with Zelensky and key European allies at the White House and then spoke to Putin by phone. In a hot mic moment, speaking to French President Emmanuel Macron, President Trump seemed to suggest he holds some sway with Putin when it comes to ending the war.
I think he wants to make a deal for me. You understand that, as crazy as it sounds.
Following Monday's meetings, President Trump promised the U.S. will help provide security guarantees to protect Ukraine from future Russian invasions, though the White House didn't provide specifics other than to say it will not include boots on the ground.
It could be in the form of an advisory relationship.
Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster served as National Security Advisor in the first Trump administration.
It could be within the region itself, a reinforcement of air defense capabilities, U.S. manned around Ukraine, which could shoot down a lot of these missiles and drones.
A key issue that needs to be resolved: what should happen to the 20% of Ukrainian territory that is currently controlled by Russian forces? In an interview this morning, President Trump said Zelensky has to show some flexibility. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Now, if talks between Putin and Zelensky do take place, it would be the first meeting between the leaders since the war began. President Trump says that following the bilateral meeting, he would take part in a trilateral meeting with the leaders. Still ahead, kicking obesity.
Playing soccer for weight loss. I'm Cristian Benavides with the men's soccer program, adding up the score by dropping the pounds.
Plus, the possible link between hearing aids and the risk of dementia. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, people with hearing loss who use hearing aids have a significantly lower risk of dementia. A study published in JAMA found among hearing loss patients under 70, those who use hearing aids had a 61% lower risk of being diagnosed with dementia. It's believed that untreated hearing loss forces the brain to work harder to hear and leads to social isolation, both of which increase the risk of dementia. Approval of the over-the-counter birth control pill has led to improved access to contraception. An Oregon Health and Science University study found in the 2 years since the FDA approved the pill, there's been a 31% increase in people using it among those who previously weren't using any contraceptives. Study's authors say this is especially beneficial for Americans with limited access to health care, including minority groups and people from low-income and rural communities. A new soccer league is helping men kick off healthier lifestyle changes. As Cristian Benavides reports, it's become a way to lose weight and gain community.
These soccer players in Cooper City, Florida, are keeping score in more ways than one. Goalkeeper Miguel LaRosa.
I always loved soccer. I just had to stop because I was too big.
At 420 pounds, LaRosa decided to begin his weight loss journey, which included a complete overhaul of his lifestyle.
Literally right after taking the photo, I was telling my friends, that's it, I had to stop.
A year ago, he found Man vs. Fat, a program new to the U.S. but 10 years running in the U.K. It's a league for men who want to shed some pounds. In order to join, you have to be considered overweight on a BMI chart. No experience on the field is required.
The main goal is the health.
Felipe Herman is the coach.
Those guys, they look at the program and they said, okay, maybe I can go there, participate in the community, play soccer, feel good about it, and nobody's going to judge me.
Scoring goals is just one way to add points. At the weekly weigh-in, players can also help their team if they're dropping weight.
For every 2 players who lose weight, an extra point is added to that team's score.
Players come up with a team name using a twist on actual soccer clubs. There's the Ozempic Lyon, A1C Milan, and the Real Mac Rib.
I think the best part about this program is the community. It's very positive. It digs into the competitive nature of men and guys when they get together, but it leverages that for a positive end.
A team working together towards a common goal of better health. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Cooper City, Florida.
There are currently leagues in Florida, New York, and Texas with plans to expand to other regions across the country. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, see why it's harder to find affordable groceries.
And our temperatures are slowly going to cool down just a bit. We're going to look at that coming up.
Finally, there's a company. Sign up now.
Well, it still turned out to be a hot one outside for us today. At least some of you got some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the morning hours. And there are still a few out there, but too many of us have stayed dry, which still stinks. We could use a little bit of rain. We do have a little complex out across southeastern Kansas. A couple little random guys have been popping up in southwest Missouri. You can see them kind of flaring up through Berry County into eastern parts of Newton County. Besides that, not a whole bunch. You can see one little guy dropping through Montgomery County. And these are going to be very hit and miss as we go through the next few hours. But unfortunately, a good chunk of us are ending up staying on the dry side. Any of these storms, these will kind of pop up, fizzle out as we go through the evening hours. Let me walk you through time. So hit and miss, little guys. Next few hours by 11 p.m., everything's gone. As we go into the morning hours, we'll start 6, 7 a.m., lower 70s. As we go through the day, upper 80s by noon. Notice the wind, a northeasterly wind. This is going to drop our humidity as we go through the next couple days. Lower 90s once we get to tomorrow afternoon, which is closer to where we should be for this time of the year. Heading into Wednesday night into Thursday morning, upper 60s across the region. And then once we go into Thursday afternoon, a little bit better. High temps 90 to 91. So at least we're trending in the right direction. 72 to start, 88 by noon. High temp 93 as we go into your Wednesday afternoon. Through the evening, 90s, 80s, 70s. Later on tonight, obviously still hot, but a little bit better. Where the storms are, out toward the west, you're sitting into the 80s. Everybody else, low to mid 90s, upper 90s, and then you have triple digits once you get through northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Humidity is still up there as well. Look at our dew points, 70 to about 75. What that means for you is it feels muggy, it feels soupy across the region, and our heat index is going to get better as we go through the next couple days. Very close to our actual temperature as we go into Wednesday. Let's go into Thursday. Not bad. Heat index right around 90 degrees, so at least we are looking better. Hurricane Aaron still sitting out across southern Atlantic, a category 2, most likely will strengthen a little bit. It gets real close to the coast, and then it turns right before it gets to North Carolina. So that's good news, but still there's going to be a lot of waves, high waves across the eastern seaboard. The reason we're getting better, our big dome of high pressure pushes off toward the west. We get into what is a northwest flow, meaning the flow is out of the northwest. This allows us to at least capture a little bit cooler air as we go through this weekend and also into early next week. Still though, Friday, lower 90s, but at least we are going to trend in a better direction. 93 Wednesday, let's go 91 on Thursday, 93 Friday, near 90 as we head into the weekend. A pop-up storm on Saturday, but look at the stretch of 80s moving in all next week.
Yeah, and those overnight lows in the low 60s.
It's going to feel pretty good.
Yes, it will. Thanks, Doug. Heat waves can make the damaging health effects of air pollution even worse. A study measured air samples for pollutants and found during heat waves, trees release emissions which, when mixed with air pollution and solar radiation, can become harmful. Researchers recommend staying indoors and avoiding major roadways during peak sunlight hours during extreme temperatures. Coming up, see how the implementation of March tariffs on aluminum and steel are impacting the price of groceries now.
I see you there.
Topping today's Consumer Watch, flight attendants say they've reached a tentative deal to end their 3-day strike against Air Canada. Tens of thousands of workers walked off the job early Saturday after months of failed negotiations over pay and scheduling disputes. Forced the cancellation of thousands of flights. The airlines say flights are resuming today with a full restoration expected within a week or more. Wages in the U.S. are lagging behind inflation, according to a new bank report. Bankrate's 2025 Wage to Inflation Index found that Americans earned 1.2 percent points below the rise of the cost of living over the past 4 years on average. According to the study, workers in education have been hit hardest, with a 4.8% wage to inflation gap. The latest consumer price index shows grocery prices in July rose 2.2% compared to last year. As Lisa Rosner reports, the rising cost of food is driving an affordability crisis, forcing families to make tough choices just to put essentials like milk, bread, and eggs on the table.
Sandra Cora is food shopping for her mom, who lives on a fixed income.
She can barely afford half of this stuff. Like, do you pay your rent or you buy food?
Everyday staples saw significant cost increases in the last year. Coffee up nearly 15%, ground beef up just over 11%. Egg prices hit by avian flu are falling, but still up more than 16%.
My budget has become double for food shopping.
Food prices behave in a way that I describe as rockets and feathers.
Ricky Volpe is a professor of agribusiness at California Polytechnic State University.
Food prices rise quickly as a result of upstream costs, but they come down slowly, if at all.
He says tariffs on aluminum and steel implemented in March are impacting the price of groceries now. They're showing up in higher costs for canned foods and beverages, but in less obvious ways too.
Steel is absolutely essential to food manufacturing, processing, storing, and transportation.
One bright spot about U.S. food supply, only about 10% of grocery store food is imported and now subject to further tariffs. Avi Kaner is co-owner of Morton Williams Supermarkets.
Consumers in the United States have a choice. They don't necessarily need to buy that sauce from Italy. They can buy the sauce that's made in the good old United States.
Experts say there are ways consumers can save on grocery costs, like buying meat in bulk and freezing it, as well as sticking to store brands instead of name brands.
Shoppers can also opt for whole items stores charge to cube watermelon and shred cheese. Shelf-stable foods can also keep overall costs down as inflation ticks up. Lisa Rosner, CBS News, New York.
MSNBC is getting a name change and a new look. The network is rebranding to MS Now, which stands for My Source News Opinion World. According to the company, it'll lose NBC's Peacock logo. NBC Universal announced last year that it would spin off MSNBC and other networks like CNBC and USA Network to a new business called Versant. Final check of the forecast coming up next.
A four-state hero.
Up next on the CBS Evening News, how a national park is saving West Virginia's coal country. Eye on America has the story of a region rising from the ashes. Then on KOAM News at 6, that newly formed organization hopes to bring life to the Joplin Midtown District. We're going to hear from a business that's excited about it. Plus, Pitt State hosts a special part-time job fair for its students. And in sports, MSSU football looks to turn things around while Pitt State prepares for a gauntlet 2025 schedule. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. An entire town is glued to the slow, careful journey of their beloved church being rolled down the road. Look at this. The 100-year-old wooden church in Sweden is making the slow 3-mile journey to make room for the expansion of Europe's biggest underground mine. At 131 feet wide and weighing more than 740 tons, it is no easy lift. Engineers had to widen the road by 50 feet just to fit the church through. Locals and visitors are lining the streets, snapping photos, cheering it on. The Sweden King even showed up. Sweden's national broadcaster is live streaming the event dubbed the Great Church Walk, taking several days.
Interesting.
Cool down coming.
Yeah, a little bit. We're still going to be in the 90s as we go through the next few days, but the humidity is going to be lower, so it's going to feel a little bit better. And then we got 80s moving in next week.
Look forward to that. Yeah, Back to School Bash is just getting underway in Chautauqua, Kansas. This is a live look. It's a free event for students, families, and community members and includes games, prizes, and hot dogs. It runs until 7 this evening at 430 Elm Street, both outside, as you see, and also inside. We're going to show you more as we close. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we'll be right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.